Hmm. I'll leave it there for now. Ad valorem excise taxes are percentage, yes, are fixed percentage rates assessed on particular goods, and specific taxes are fixed dollar amounts to apply to certain purchases. So if there was an extra 10% tax on top of a regular tax on cigarettes, that would be an ad valorem excise tax. We gotta write this, ad valorem. A percentage tax, and then a specific tax would be like if on every pack of cigarettes the government charged an additional $3 in tax. So specific tax is going to be some absolute amount. Where was I with this? In Australia, labels show gangrenous limbs, underweight babies, cancerous mouths, and blind eyes. Belgium adds corpses to the picture. Yikes. California, a combination of higher cigarette taxes and an ambitious awareness program, contributed to a 5% decline in lung cancer among women, even as it rose 13% in the rest of the country. As of 2007, state taxes varied from a low of 7 cents per pack in South Carolina to a high of $2.58 in New Jersey. More generally, the message about the dangers of smoking, along with the higher cost of cigarettes, has had an effect over time. Only about 20% of American adults now smoke, down from more than half in the 1960s. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, each pack of cigarettes sold in the United States costs society $7.18 in higher healthcare costs and in lost worker productivity. The added cost exceeds $150 billion a year, which works out to be about $3,400 per smoker per year. What is the actual question here? What is the best way to prevent and reduce smoking? Briefly discuss. Off the top of my head, the two most common ways are going to be the excise tax as well as awareness programs, but we'll see what our junior tutor had to say. So our junior tutor had to say, as far as the best way to reduce smoking goes in adolescence, one of the main problems in most developing or developed nations is adolescent smoking. A proposal for eliminating such a problem has been banning or prohibiting smoking among teenagers. Prohibition is not a solution because there are always suppliers in the black market or in the underground economy who will supply illegally to these teenagers, and they will purchase and continue smoking even after the prohibition or legal ban. It is important to note that adolescent smoking has a relatively high price elasticity. In such a case, if prices are increased by imposing taxes, the decrease in demand will be high due to the relatively elastic demand. So if we remember with elasticity demand in particular, it's the percent change in quantity demanded over the percent change. Here I use the symbol delta, the triangle, to denote change in price. And if it is elastic, that means the change is greater than 1. Therefore, if there's a price change, there will be an even greater change in the quantity demanded. So if price goes up, I don't know, by a bit, then the quantity demanded is going to fall by quite a bit more. Our junior tutor said that it's also important to note that teens have relatively low incomes, so the share of cigarettes in total expenditure is large, and therefore the elasticity of cigarettes is higher. Again, this suggests that an increase in prices would reduce adolescent demand more than proportionally. Taxation on cigarettes has proved to be quite successful among adolescents in different parts of the world. But the problem with taxing is that it creates a deadweight loss to society. A much better approach would therefore be the introduction of awareness programs that would simply reduce cigarette demand and shift the demand curve to the left, reducing both the price and consumption of cigarettes. Deadweight loss to society would also be prevented. So if I just draw this out real quick, we're going to have Q on our x-axis for quantity, P on our y-axis for price. We've got supply, and we've got demand. And they're saying that these programs to educate adolescents about the effects of smoking will cause their demand for cigarettes to fall. Call that D prime. As a result, our demand curve has shifted to the left. And we've moved from this initial equilibrium here, which I'll call Q and P, down to this new equilibrium. And at this new equilibrium, P prime and Q prime, we see that the price is lower and the demand is also lower. Give you guys a quick second to take a picture of that. To move on to question 2.